very good question. I learned my English in Liberia. In Liberia, we speak English because of our American connection. We speak English in Liberia, but you will know that kids growing up in the home will either speak two languages, both English and the indigenous language. We have 16 local languages in Liberia, but that's not big because country like Nigeria where they got over 300 local languages, so that's just small. So out of the 16 languages, I come from one of those tribes. So we speak I speak my local language and also English. But we teach English in school throughout the school years. English is taught in the school. So I learned my English in Liberia.
So Ruth just came in from. She's going to pick up Jerry and take them back. Jerry's been staying at Kirby and Ruth Backen's home. And what do you call them? Because it just surprised me to death when I came in there. What do you call them?
So I call them Mom and Dad. The same thing I was telling the children. Saying somebody for the first time you don't know, you call them uncle or auntie until you get to know their name. But even you get to know their name, you have to put a handle on it. Put something on it before you call the name. It would be disrespect if I call her first name. I don't even want to call that name. It would be rude or disrespectful if I call Dad his name. So that's how our culture is like. And even he's the pastor here. In my context, we will, unless there is confusion and you want to distinguish with the pastor, then you say Pastor Schumacher. But we refer to our pastors as pastor already. We don't call them by their name. Yeah. Yes, Nancy?
Do you have time to share a little bit on what you're currently working on with education and economic independence and things like that?
Yes, so I was sharing with Nancy this morning that for the last few months I've developed a project to work with women, especially single mom. In Liberia, there are a lot of women who are single, according to research report. But then they have children, or maybe some guys will come and get them pregnant, and sometimes they will either run away or they are around there, but they don't have a job. But women, many of them don't have voice in our society, and many of their children are in the streets running all over, no education. So I am working on the project, a microfinance project targeting first 21 women, and each of these women, you gave her 100 United States dollars over a 12 months period, being coached by somebody, monitored by somebody, a volunteer though, in the context of business, making business with this $100. In 12 months period, she will be able to return the principal of the $100 back to me or to the foundation, and she'll be able to use the profit over the last 12 months to establish her own business permanently. Out of that business, she's able to send her kids to school, she's able to pay her rent, she's able to feed her family. With that, she gets to have voice in the community. And many women don't even know the road to the bank. So through this project, I'm hoping that many women will be also able to establish their own bank account where they can go to bank, deposit money, and withdraw money. With that, they get to have some legitimacy, some respect within the community just by such a project. And I'm targeting, hoping that in the next, these are 21 women, effective February, I'm back in Liberia, I'm starting with them, I'm still raising the fund though. But I'm hoping that in the next 5 years, if we can be able, or the foundation, my project can be able to change the life of about 100 women who could not pay their rent, who could not send their children to school, who could not feed themselves, who never had bank accounts but can now send their kids to school. I think that would be a very big project. And when they return that principal, we take and give it to a group of women again who will continue that project. So I'm targeting like about 100 women over 5 years, but 21 women will be this year. After next year, after this year, the following year, another 21 women, just like that, in order to give voice to women in my community. That's the project I'm working on, and I'm praying that it will be successful through the fundraising project. And like I said, through the connection of mom and dad and that of Pastor Shu Marshall, I'm looking forward to coming back in 2020, not during winter. in 2020, at least around April and May, to share with you some of the success stories that will be taking place through this project.
Wow.
Okay, I'll ask the obvious question. If people wanted to donate to that foundation, your foundation, how would they go about doing that?
This is a very great question. Currently, we got a website set up. I'm sorry I didn't come with a business card, but you will get the information through mom and dad, or actually pastor, since he's here. A group in Wisconsin trying to also set up a GoFundMe project for this, which I hope it works. But I can imagine when I'm back in Liberia, hopefully in the next 2 weeks, people will be coming knocking on my door. Where is this money we want to start with? So I was telling Nancy this morning, until we can have a better account set up, process, especially going back to Liberia, trying to get this project going. Physical donation, I'm still here from now till February 2nd. I leave February 2nd for Wisconsin, and my last day in the United States will be on February 4th. So a physical donation will work, so that I take back some money with me from anyone who wants to help. Hopefully through that website that a group in Wisconsin is setting up will also be a good project to work on.
Could we not just give it to Darts?
That works.
And then he could take, it'd be his problem.
I have all kinds of problems, and of course, if you gave it to me, obviously I would turn it directly to Nancy Z. Do not pass go, because she knows much more about handling the money than I do. So, but yes, you could certainly hand it to me, and I'll make sure it gets to the right place.
And like I said, accountability is at the heart of our foundation. And also, I think is in Liberia, there is a saying that you put your mouth where you put your money. So I'll be very happy to come back to tell you what your contribution is doing in Africa. $100 is a lot, but again, I know that if I was handling money frequently, I'm sure I could use $100 for other dinner like the one he bought for me at breakfast this morning. I would use, in 10 days, I'm sure I'll be able to use $100 on or less than 10 days, I could use $100 on both breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But this $100 will be able to change the life of somebody forever. This is the most incredible thing about this project. Taking $100, giving to a woman to transform it to better her life, that's something great. I thought I could be a great project to work on.
I want to make sure that people have the opportunity to ask a final question, because we're coming up on the quarter till mark. And I promised that we could move on. And one quick question that I have, and then somebody else please ask a question, is your safety going forward. So you're going to go back to Liberia, and you've got a foundation, and you're helping these women out. What kind of stuff are you going to need to watch out for your safety and your family's safety?
Yeah, when it comes to safety, I know the kind of work I do, I just need to be visible. And visibility also means a lot of things. I don't have police to protect me, and I'm always in the public.
Right.
Just recently, just before I came, this is a sad news. We had, and I can tell people, it's a problem across Africa, the issue of corruption. When I tell Americans we have corruption in Africa, they say, but we also have corruption. But I think yours is not as chronic as ours. Just before I left my country, we had 16 billion Liberian dollars the equivalent of nearly 100 million United States dollars disappear from the national coffers. But you hear that there are a lot of government officials who are building houses right now, and I'm sure some kind of way something happened to that fund. Yet still you had no electricity. The Chinese put street lights with solar panels. You see in the evening kids carrying their benches on their head just to go to the street light to study because they don't have electricity home. They want to make grades, they want to study and go to school, but the necessary social amenities are not there. That's one of the things I'm going to be talking about. So I can watch out for government to either walk to me and be arrested because I said something terrible of the government, or I expose the government, or I said something that either somebody in power does not like. But I think that's also my duty because the country is small though, and we are just under 5 million people. I think if we were practicing good governance, everybody would have money in their pocket, we would have jobs everywhere, we would have electricity, and we wouldn't have kids at home without education, but because of corruption. So when you talk about safety and the kind of work I do, I'm just open to anything happening.
Final question, please.
If there's no question, I want to tell you that you are wonderful people. Thank you for the opportunity given to me to speak to you. My heart is so warm. I got this card. I was telling, your name is still difficult. I need to master it.
Barry.
Barry, that I need to go, maybe this
Rhymes
card-
with Jerry.
Yeah. You're right. I would have to take this card with me, and it will be in my suitcase most of the time as I travel, because I want to show the kind of work or what this card stands for, where it came from for Turkey, the kind of thing that generated it, the kind of women and community life that have been changed because of the work that you do on this project. So I just want to say thank you for the great job that you are doing. Jesus Christ was the architect of social justice, and you continue to do his work here on earth. I'd be very happy to be back and talking about against projects on social justice, about the work I do. But I'm so grateful, Pastor. Thank you for the invitation, and thank you for welcoming me. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you.